back in business.
In 1993, Steven Spielberg brought dinosaurs back to life and changed movies forever. Jurassic Park became one of the biggest hits ever made and still looks amazing today. Here are 20 weird and surprising facts about Jurassic Park. Fact 1. The famous Tyrannosaurus Rex roar is one of the most recognizable sounds in movie history, but it didn't come from one animal. Sound designer Gary Rydstrom mixed together sounds from 3 different animals to create it. He used the gurgle of an alligator for the low, deep parts. He added the snarl of a tiger for intimidation and power, but the key ingredient was the high-pitched squeal of a baby elephant. Rydstrom recorded animals at various zoos and wildlife parks for months. When he was recording a baby elephant, it made a cute, high-pitched scream just once. The handlers said they had never heard the elephant make that sound before and called it weird. Rydstrom kept trying to get the baby elephant to do it again, but it refused, so he had to use that exact same recording every single time the T-Rex roars in the movie. That means every T-Rex roar you hear is the same baby elephant squeal slowed down and mixed with other animals. For the T-Rex's breathing sounds, Rydstrom used a whale's blowhole because it's propulsive air coming from a large animal. The roar won Rydstrom an Academy Award for Best Sound Effects Editing. Fact 2. Jurassic Park is a 2-hour movie completely about dinosaurs, but the actual dinosaurs only appear on screen for about 15 minutes total. That's it. Of those 15 minutes, approximately 9 minutes feature the animatronic dinosaurs built by Stan Winston's team, and only 6 minutes are computer-generated imagery. The rest of the movie builds suspense and shows the human characters reacting to the danger. This technique goes back to Steven Spielberg's earlier movie Jaws, where the shark barely appears but you're terrified the whole time. Crew members John Rosengrant and Matt Winston explained that the philosophy was simple. When you see the dinosaurs, they need to be amazing. By peppering them throughout the film sparingly, audiences think they're seeing dinosaurs constantly, but actually don't. When viewers do see them, they're top-notch and excellent. This makes each dinosaur appearance feel special and memorable. If dinosaurs appeared in every scene, they would lose their impact and become boring. By showing them rarely, every glimpse feels important. The famous T-Rex attack scene, the velociraptors in the kitchen, the first Brachiosaurus reveal, these moments stick in your mind because they're used wisely. Less is definitely more when it comes to movie monsters. Fact 3. Hurricane Iniki hit the Hawaiian island of Kauai on September 11, 1992, right in the middle of filming. This was the most powerful hurricane to ever hit Hawaii in recorded history. The storm killed 7 people, injured over 100, and caused $1.8 billion in damage. The Jurassic Park cast and crew had to ride out the hurricane in the ballroom of their hotel. Luckily, everyone survived safely, but the hurricane destroyed many of the movie's sets, including the one for the power shed. This created a major problem for Samuel L. Jackson's character, Ray Arnold. Jackson was scheduled to fly to Hawaii to film a big death scene where he would be chased by velociraptors and torn apart. He was excited to do it because it would have been cool to be killed by dinosaurs on screen. But with the sets destroyed, Jackson never got to film the scene. Instead, his death happens off screen, and all we see is Ellie discovering his severed arm. Jackson was disappointed because he loves doing memorable death scenes in movies. Steven Spielberg did manage to use some footage from the hurricane, though. Before conditions got too dangerous, Spielberg and cinematographer Dean Cundy filmed the massive ocean waves. Those brief shots of huge waves crashing over barriers right before Dennis Nedry sabotages the park are real Hurricane Iniki footage. Fact 4. Stan Winston's team built a full-size Tyrannosaurus Rex animatronic that was absolutely massive. The T-Rex stood 20 feet tall and stretched 40 feet long from head to tail. It weighed approximately 12,000 pounds, which is over 6 tons. Some reports put the weight even higher at 13,000 to 15,000 pounds. The dinosaur was so enormous that Stan Winston had to buy the building next door to his studio. Then he had to raise the roof by 13 feet just to have enough space to build it. The T-Rex had 57 different functions and movements, all controlled by hydraulics, except for the eyes, which were radio controlled. The crew needed to have serious safety meetings about how to use it properly and avoid getting hurt. If anyone got stuck under it or it fell on someone, could easily kill them. During construction, there was even a scary moment when the studio had a blackout while a crew member was inside the animatronic. All the metal internal parts shifted and put him in grave danger. Fortunately, the crew was able to pry open the jaws and rescue him before he got seriously injured. The sheer size of the T-Rex meant filming any scenes with it required days or even weeks of planning to execute safely. Fact 5. The famous T-Rex attack scene happens during a rainstorm, which created huge problems. Stan Winston's team built the T-Rex with foam rubber skin that looked incredibly realistic, but nobody told them the dinosaur would be filmed in the rain. The foam rubber soaked up water like a giant sponge. The T-Rex absorbed so much artificial rain that it became 3 or 4 times heavier than normal. Under all that extra water weight, the animatronics started shaking and shuddering uncontrollably, like it was cold or frightened. Producer Kathleen Kennedy said the T-Rex went into the heebie-jeebies sometimes and scared everyone. People would be eating lunch when suddenly the T-Rex would come alive on its own. At first, nobody knew what was happening. Then they realized it was the rain causing the malfunctions. Between takes, Winston's entire team had to run to the T-Rex and start mopping it off with towels. They used blow dryers and fans for hours, squeezing out the water. There was even a night shift crew that came in just to continue drying the T-Rex so it would be ready for the next day. The water absorption also made the dinosaur look fatter around the middle. The CGI animators had to digitally fatten up the T-Rex in the distance shots to match how pudgy it looked when soaked. Fact 6. The actors had to perform opposite dinosaurs that weren't actually there during filming. This was brand new for actors in 1993 because CGI was so new. To help the actors react properly, director Steven Spielberg tried to assist by making his own dinosaur sounds during filming. He would roar and growl to give the actors something to react to in the moment, but according to Sam Neill, this didn't really help. Neill said on the special features, that was kind of more funny than anything, and the acting part was not laughing. It's not easy. The actors struggled to keep straight faces when Spielberg was making dinosaur noises. They had to focus on not cracking up instead of acting scared. While Spielberg's intentions were good, his dinosaur sounds were more comical than terrifying. The actors eventually figured out how to react to nothing and imagine the dinosaurs in their heads. This experience helped pioneer techniques that actors use today when working with CGI creatures. Now it's completely normal for actors to perform opposite tennis balls on sticks or empty green screens, but in 1993, it was totally new and strange. Spielberg's silly dinosaur sounds were just part of the learning process for everyone involved. Fact 7. Jurassic Park was a massive production with complicated special effects and dangerous animatronics. You would expect it to need extra time and go over schedule. But amazingly, the movie finished filming 12 days ahead of schedule. This almost never happens on big Hollywood movies. The secret was Steven Spielberg's incredibly detailed preparation. Before filming started, Spielberg created scaled model versions of all the scenes. He used a tiny lipstick camera to find all the angles he wanted to shoot. By planning everything in advance down to the tiniest detail, Spielberg knew exactly what shots he needed when he arrived on set. There was no wasting time figuring things out or trying different ideas. Every day of shooting was planned like a military operation. The cast and crew knew their jobs and executed them efficiently. Even with all the complicated dinosaur effects and stunts, everything ran smoothly because of the advanced planning. Finishing early saved the production a ton of money since every extra day of filming costs thousands or even millions of dollars. It also gave Spielberg more time for post-production to perfect the special effects. The early wrap was impressive considering they had to deal with Hurricane Iniki destroying sets and other unexpected problems during production. Fact 8. Steven Spielberg had originally wanted to direct Schindler's List before making Jurassic Park, but the head of Universal Studios made him a deal. Make Jurassic Park first, and then we'll do Schindler's List. When Jurassic Park finished filming, Spielberg went straight into production on Schindler's List with no break at all. He was working on both films simultaneously. During the day in Poland, Spielberg would film the serious Holocaust. Then at night, he would work with editor Michael Kahn on editing Jurassic Park. He also had regular video conferences with the special effects team at Industrial Light and Magic to oversee the dinosaur effects. Spielberg called this the hardest time of my filmmaking life. The emotional toll of shooting a movie about the Holocaust left him feeling depressed. He needed an hour to recover before he could answer questions about digital dinosaurs. The contrast between the two movies was extreme, one about the worst of humanity, the other about wonder and adventure. Despite the difficulty, Spielberg successfully completed both films in 1993. Both became huge hits and critical successes. It showed his incredible range as a director and his amazing work ethic to handle two major productions at once. Fact 9. In the movie, there's a scene where the characters encounter a sick triceratops lying on the ground. Next to the dinosaur is a giant pile of dinosaur droppings that looks incredibly convincing and gross. The actors react to it so believably that you can practically smell it through the screen. But here's the surprise. It didn't smell at all on set. The pile was made entirely from clay, mud, and other materials that had no odor whatsoever. The special effects team spent time making it look as disgusting and realistic as possible without using anything that actually smelled bad. They wanted the actors to react naturally without being distracted by terrible smells. Laura Dern and Sam Neill had to pretend it reeked while knowing it was completely odorless. Their convincing performances made audiences believe they were dealing with real dinosaur waste. This attention to detail extends to the Triceratops itself, which was a massive animatronic that the actors could actually touch and interact with. There was even a deleted scene from the sequence where the Triceratops had babies, and Hammond's grandson Tim rides a baby Triceratops. That scene didn't make the final cut, but it shows how much work went into creating believable dinosaur moments throughout the film. Fact 10. Before Steven Spielberg got involved, other directors wanted to make Jurassic Park. Studios were bidding on the rights to Michael Crichton's novel before it was even published in 1990. Warner Brothers wanted Tim Burton to direct. Columbia Pictures wanted Richard Donner. Fox was interested in Joe Dante, and James Cameron really wanted to make it. Cameron tried to buy the rights, but discovered that Spielberg had acquired them just a few hours earlier. Cameron was disappointed, but said his version would have been much nastier, comparing it to his 1986 film, Aliens. He wanted to cast Charlton Heston as John Hammond, Bill Paxton as Ian Malcolm, and Arnold Schwarzenegger as Dr. Alan Grant. Can you imagine Arnold Schwarzenegger as a paleontologist? That would have been a completely different movie. Cameron also said his version would have been like Aliens with dinosaurs, meaning it would have been much more violent and action-packed. After seeing Spielberg's finished film, Cameron realized he wasn't the right director for it. He praised Spielberg for making a film that could be enjoyed by children and families. Universal won the bidding war and immediately wanted Spielberg to direct because of their successful previous relationship. The choice to go with Spielberg instead of Cameron changed everything about how the movie turned out. Fact 11. In the early drafts of the script, the finale looked very different from what we see in the movie. The ending took place with the velociraptors getting caught up in the displayed T-Rex skeleton in the visitor center. One raptor was going to get crushed between the skeleton's jaws, and the other would be stabbed by a rib bone. This ending stayed in the script even as they went into shooting, but some crew members felt the sequence was underwhelming. This approached Steven Spielberg with suggestions to make it more exciting. Everyone got together for a brainstorming session to come up with better ideas. During this meeting, they realized they needed to see the real T-Rex one more time. The original ending didn't feature the living T-Rex at all, just the skeleton. Spielberg thought the audience needed to see the actual dinosaur for one final moment, so they completely changed the ending to have the T-Rex burst into the visitor center and save the characters from the velociraptors. This new ending became one of the most famous moments in the movie. The T-Rex roars as a banner reading, "When dinosaurs ruled the earth falls to its feet." It's the perfect conclusion that shows nature triumphing. The last-minute change proved that sometimes the best ideas come from collaboration and being willing to improve what you already have. Fact 12. In Michael Crichton's original novel, Ian Malcolm is not a very heroic character at all. In the early script drafts for the movie, he wasn't supposed to be heroic either. During the T-Rex attack scene, Malcolm was written to just run away and hide like a coward, similar to the lawyer character Gennaro. But Jeff Goldblum had a different idea for the character. It was Goldblum's suggestion to make Malcolm more heroic by having him distract the T-Rex to protect the others. He wanted Malcolm to take off his jacket and use it to draw the dinosaur's attention away from the kids. Spielberg loved this idea and changed the scene. This made Malcolm much more likable and turned him into one of the most popular characters in the franchise. Goldblum's instinct to add bravery to Malcolm changed everything about how audiences viewed him. Instead of being just a sarcastic mathematician, he became a hero who risks his life for others. This character change is why Malcolm returned in the Lost World sequel and became such an iconic part of Jurassic Park. Goldblum's performance combined with his suggestion created a character that fans loved. It shows how actors can sometimes understand their characters better than what's written on the page. One simple idea from an actor changed the entire franchise. Fact 13. Joseph Mazzello got the part of Tim after Steven Spielberg watched his audition for Hook, another Spielberg movie with Robin Williams. Mazzello was only 7 years old when he auditioned for Hook. Spielberg told him, "Don't worry, Joey, I'm going to get you in a movie this summer," and then offered him Jurassic Park. In Michael Crichton's novel, Tim is the older child and Lex is younger. Spielberg actually changed the ages of both children in the movie so that Mazzello could play Tim. He made Tim younger and Lex older to fit the actors he wanted. This is a significant change from the book where Tim is the computer expert. In the movie, they switched it so Lex is the hacker who reboots the system. Mazzello attended school during filming, and Spielberg would sometimes pull him out of classes to give him lessons about directing since Mazzello had expressed interest in becoming a director. Both child actors Richards and Mazzello had to deal with scary scenes involving velociraptors and the T-Rex. During the intense kitchen scene with the raptors, there was one take where a raptor being pushed on wheels had its metal claw hit Mazzello in the face. The crew immediately stopped, and Spielberg had everyone sing Happy Birthday to Mazzello to cheer him up after the scary accident. Fact 14. situation. When Hurricane Iniki approached Kauai, producer Kathleen Kennedy had to tell Steven Spielberg there was no way to evacuate everyone. The hurricane had turned 90 degrees and was headed straight for them. They would have to ride it out together. This created an eerie parallel to the movie's plot, where characters are trapped on an island during a tropical storm. Before conditions became too dangerous, Spielberg had a brilliant idea. He approached cinematographer Dean Cundey and said they should get some shots of the ocean. The waves were getting bigger and bigger, soon becoming absolutely huge. Cundey and a small crew filmed the massive waves despite the dangerous conditions. Eventually, hotel security came down and told them it was no longer safe to be outside. Everyone had to go to the ballroom immediately for shelter. If you watch the movie carefully, you can see the brief shots of disaster that show huge waves crashing over barriers. These appear right before Dennis Nedry is about to sabotage the park. That footage came from the actual Hurricane Iniki, The Storm Giveth and the Storm Taketh Away. While it destroyed sets and prevented Samuel L. Jackson's death scene, it also provided real dramatic footage that made it into the final film. Spielberg's quick thinking to capture the hurricane turned a disaster into an opportunity. Fact 15. Sam Neill was not the first choice to play Dr. Alan Grant. The part was offered to other actors first, but nobody would commit for various reasons. With only 3 weeks until filming was scheduled to start, Steven Spielberg turned to Sam Neill. At that point, Neill's biggest movies were Dead Calm, The Hunt for Red October, and The Piano. Jurassic Park was quite a step up for him in terms of scale and budget. Spielberg cast Neill because he saw him as bringing a real grounded nature to the character. Neill's casting created an interesting situation with his accent. Spielberg originally wanted Neill to use an American accent since Grant is supposed to be American, but Neill struggled with the American accent and couldn't get it quite right. After a couple days of trying, Spielberg told him, "Just talk in your normal voice." So Neill spoke in his native New Zealand Kiwi accent, but then, after a few more days, Spielberg changed his mind again and asked Neill to give him halfway between the two. This is why Grant has a slightly strange, hard-to-place accent in the film. Neill is doing a mix of his natural voice and an attempted American accent. The character of Grant was modeled on two real-life paleontologists named Jack Horner and Robert Backer. Despite the last-minute casting, Neill became perfect for the role. Fact 16. Universal Pictures spent a massive $65 million on the marketing campaign for Jurassic Park. That's in addition to the $63 million it cost to actually make the movie. The marketing included deals with over 100 different companies to sell more than 1,000 products. There were Jurassic Park video games made by Sega and Ocean Software. Kenner created a huge toy line distributed by Hasbro that became one of the most popular toy lines of the 1990s. McDonald's had special Dino-sized meals with toys. There was a novelization for young children. Universal spent about $20 million just on television advertising. An estimated $65 million was spent on TV commercials for all the Jurassic Park products being sold. The promotional campaign was carefully planned during the lengthy pre-production period. Universal took advantage of the time to create one of the biggest marketing pushes in movie history. The merchandise flooded stores months before the movie came out, building excitement and awareness. This massive marketing campaign helped make Jurassic Park a cultural phenomenon before anyone even saw it. Kids were playing with dinosaur toys and watching commercials for weeks leading up to release. By the time the movie hit theaters, everyone already knew about it and wanted to see it. The enormous marketing investment paid off when the movie became a massive hit. Fact 17. After filming wrapped early in November 1992, editor Michael Kahn had a rough cut ready for Spielberg to see within days. This allowed Spielberg to leave for Poland to film Schindler's List. The visual effects were obviously a huge part of the post-production for Jurassic Park. Spielberg monitored the effects process from Poland through regular video conferences with the Industrial Light and Magic crew. The small team of only 6 animators and 40 artists in the computer graphics department worked on creating the CGI dinosaurs. The technology for the effects improved dramatically during production. Shots that ILM initially believed were impossible became achievable by the end. Composer John Williams began scoring Jurassic Park at the end of February 1993, and it was recorded a month later. Williams felt he needed to write pieces that would convey a sense of awe and fascination, since the film dealt with the overwhelming happiness of seeing live dinosaurs. Unlike all their previous collaborations, Spielberg was unable to sit in on Williams' recording session because he was in Poland. Williams previewed his scores on a piano for Spielberg before he left. The entire post-production process from filming to final product took about 6 months. Jurassic Park was completed on May 28, 1993, and released in theaters just 2 weeks later on June 11, 1993. Fact 18. Sound designer Gary Rydstrom didn't just record animal sounds at zoos for the dinosaurs, he also used his own pets. The sound of the T-Rex tearing apart a gallimimus came from Rydstrom's dog Buster playing with a rope toy. Rydstrom would watch Buster play with the toy and shake it violently, pretending like he was killing prey. This gave Rydstrom the perfect sound for a dinosaur eating. Rydstrom said, "I use my pets all the time," for sound effects. In Terminator 2, he recorded Buster eating puppy chow, and that became the crunching sound when the T-1000 spikes someone's eye socket. For Jurassic Park, the velociraptor sounds came from many different animals. Rydstrom used African cranes, tortoises, and horses. He even used a human for one of the raptor sounds. A friend of his happened to be in the studio one day, and Rydstrom asked, "You make any weird sounds?" The friend made a strange noise that became the only human sound used for dinosaurs in the movie. The Dilophosaurus has a rattlesnake sound when it fans out its neck frill. The raspy sounds in its voice came from a hawk. One of the fun tricks Rydstrom learned was slowing sounds down to make them bigger. He got this idea from his mentor Ben Burt, who made the Rancor beast in Return of the Jedi by slowing down a Chihuahua sound. Fact 19.
So what are you thinking?
We're out of a job. Don't you mean extinct?
Phil Tippett was originally hired to do stop-motion animation for the dinosaurs using a technique called go motion, but when Steven Spielberg saw the test footage of CGI dinosaurs created by Industrial Light and Magic, he realized computer animation looked much better. He decided to use CGI for most of the dinosaur shots instead of stop-motion. This meant Phil Tippett and his entire stop-motion team were suddenly out of work. Tippett made a joke that he was about to become extinct, just like the dinosaurs. Spielberg loved this line so much that he gave it to Ian Malcolm in the movie. When Dr. Alan Grant talks about living dinosaurs making paleontology obsolete, Malcolm quips about extinction. That line came directly from Tippett's real-life situation. However, the model makers and animators weren't completely replaced. They were experts on dinosaurs and their movement, so they retrained as computer animators to continue working on the production. Their knowledge of how dinosaurs should move was still valuable, even though the technology changed. This shows how the movie itself mirrored real changes happening in Hollywood. Traditional techniques were being replaced by new computer technology. Tippett's joke captured that moment perfectly, and it became one of the movie's most memorable lines about evolution and change. Fact 20. When Jurassic Park started pre-production, Steven Spielberg wasn't sure computer-generated dinosaurs would look good enough. His original plan was to use a combination of stop-motion animation and real lizards filmed to look bigger. This is how dinosaur movies had been made for decades. Filmmakers would film iguanas and other large lizards and use camera tricks to make them look huge. But then the team at Industrial Light and Magic showed Spielberg test footage of CGI dinosaurs. The images were so realistic and lifelike that Spielberg immediately changed his entire approach. He abandoned the idea of using lizards and committed to making the dinosaurs look as real as possible. The combination of Stan Winston's animatronics for close-up shots and ILM's CGI for wide shots created something nobody had ever seen before. When Spielberg showed the footage to Stan Winston, his team, and the actors, everyone was stunned. They realized they were about to make movie history. The decision to use cutting-edge CGI instead of old-fashioned techniques is why Jurassic Park still looks amazing over 30 years later. Lizards with prosthetics would have looked silly and dated. The realistic CGI dinosaurs made audiences truly believe they were seeing living, breathing, prehistoric creatures for the first time ever. And there you have it, 20 weird and surprising facts about Jurassic Park, the movie that brought dinosaurs back to life and changed cinema forever. From baby elephant squeals to hurricane disasters to malfunctioning robot dinosaurs, the making of this film was just as wild as the movie itself. Which fact amazed you the most? Let us know.